everyone. We are going to learn git merge today. So for that I have set up a very simple example. So let's check the branch. We are on the branch master and we have a file called calculator inside it. And let's assume that there is some code that is available here. So let's say console.log, and so basically this file contains legacy code, legacy/old code. Okay, so this is a change that we have done to master. Let's quickly add and commit it. All right. Okay, now let's assume that the company decides to hire front-end and back-end engineers. Okay, so let's create two branches from master. One would be front-end, another would be back-end. So git branch front-end. Okay, and we'll also create git branch backend. Okay, all right. Now let's say the backend engineer is writing some code and committing some code on his particular branch. So let's check out to backend. All right, we are on the branch backend. Let's change this to this file contains backend code. Let's add one more line. Also contains some utility APIs. If I can spell it correctly, utility. Okay, right. Now let's add and commit it. Git add. Okay, and say git commit -m backend code APIs. All right, now what did we do? We came to backend branch and made our changes. Similarly, let's go to front-end branch and make our changes. So we'll say git checkout front-end. All right, we are on the front-end branch. Let's start making our changes here. This file contains, let's say, front-end code. Okay, and console.log. It also contains reusable code. Okay, that's some random text that we are writing to observe the changes. So okay, now we need to add and commit like earlier. So we'll say add, we'll also say commit front-end code let's say front-end code components. All right, right. So we have created two branches called front-end and back-end respectively, and we have made changes to both the branches. Okay, let us say that the front-end engineer is asked to merge the code from backend into the front-end branch itself, right, and then send the same to master, right? So the front-end engineer is tasked with combining his code with whatever code is available on the backend branch. Okay, and also master is the parent for front-end and backend. Hence front end and back end are sort of siblings to one another. Okay, understanding this tree structure is pretty important. So let's try to bring the back end code into the front end branch. So we are on front end. Let's try to merge back end here. So we'll say git merge backend. Okay, and what we are expecting is conflict to happen because we have tried to edit the same lines of code with different text, right? So 4 lines of code cannot be there, so we need to pick and resolve the conflict that will happen. So let's say git merge backend, right? So we see this error sort of a thing, and I'll acquaint you with the nomenclature that is here. So here, from at the top you can see accept current change. That means whatever lines of code were there in the front end branch already. Okay, so basically these lines, this line contains front end code, it also contains reusable code. Okay, accept incoming changes means whatever was brought from the backend branch, which is the second group of statements. This file contains backend code, also contains some utility APIs, right? Okay, or what we can do is we can accept both changes, right? And all these 4 lines of code will stay in this calculator.js file. Okay, so we can do either of these things depending on what our priority or preference is. So for now, since we the front end engineer was tasked with combining the changes, his changes along with that of the backend engineer, so we should be going with this option, accept both changes, right? So we'll choose this, and we can see all the 4 lines of code are here, correct? Now, so let's try to commit whatever changes have happened. So we'll say git add dot git commit -m. It's a merge commit, so we'll say merge, and we'll say added both branches together. Okay, yeah, now the front end branch, that is the current branch, should be good to be merged further with the master branch, right? So we'll say git branch. So we are on front end. Let's go to master, git checkout. Master. So we have switched to the master branch, and it has just the 1 line of code that was available over there. Okay, now here we are again going to use the same command, git merge followed by the branch name. Okay, and we'll try to bring things over here on master. So we are on master currently. We'll say git merge, and we'll say front end, because that's where our combined code is stored, right? Added both branches together on front end branch. So usually the mistake that beginners do is that they expect a similar type of merge conflict to happen even in this case, where master is our base branch and we are trying to bring code from front end into master, right? Like we are trying to do here. So the expectation is we should be seeing another merge conflict window like we saw in the previous case, and then we would again accept incoming or accept both. The expectation is we would do something similar to that. However, there is a catch. Let's see what's the catch is. So I'll say git merge front end, and when I do this, the first line of code just disappears, and it seems like whatever code was available on front end has come and overwritten the contents of the code that was available on master, right? So that's what has happened. And if we look at the comments here, so it says something like fast forward, right? So fast forward is actually a category of merge that happens if there is no separation in terms in the branches that are there. Okay, so I'll try my best to explain to you what fast forward is and why we did not get to see the uh, merge conflict in this case. Okay, so try to bear with me a little, and let's try to understand this, what actually happened. Okay, so let's say our code had this master branch. Okay, and master had two sub branches, right? That were respectively what? Front end and back end. Okay, and what we did earlier was that we tasked front end with creating the combined format of the code by getting the code from backend into itself, right? This is when we did something like git merge backend, while our current branch was front end. So while on front end we tried to do git merge backend, correct? And this is when we got to see the conflicts, right, which we resolved manually. However, when we go to master, right, when we were on master branch, and then when we tried to do a git merge front end, right, when we tried to do this, then we saw this message regarding fast forward merges, right? So this is the catch that I was talking about. There are two categories of merges available. One is called fast forward, like we can see here, and the other category is called a three-way merge. Three-way merge because there are two siblings and a parent, and in this category the entire history of whatever merges are happening is preserved, whereas if we go for the fast forward merge, it's basically overwriting the history, right? So this is the reason why when you try to do a merge between siblings or with any non-parent node, then you see the merge conflict happening. However, when you change this dynamic and you try to do a merge between the parent and the child, in that case fast forward merges happen. Okay, so fast forward merges allows the more recently written code, right? It's obvious that master the child branches, right, like front end or back end, already contain the code that is contained in master. So it's obvious that whatever we write on top of master's code will be the latest code or the bigger code that needs to be saved, right? So so that is the reason why when you try to go to master and then try to merge a child branch into master, then automatically fast forward merges will happen, which will overwrite whatever is there in master with the content from the child branch that you are bringing. And this is exactly what happened here. When we said git merge frontend, it brought all the latest code from frontend and basically overwrote whatever was there on line number 1. Correct. However, if you remember, there was uh, a git merge conflict occurring when we were trying to merge code from backend into frontend, where we chose from among the three options: accept incoming, accept current, and accept both. Okay, so this is the difference of merging branches which are siblings versus merging branches that maintain a parent to child kind of a hierarchy. So I hope git merge is clear to you, and you can mention in the comments if you have any further doubts. So thank you for your time.